Hello everybody and welcome back to the channel. So I just want to say thanks to everybody who's tuning in. I don't get very often to make very many videos these days. I'm always so busy. However, I did get the Quarry on PlayStation Plus. Was it Premium or Extra? Whatever. PlayStation Plus. It's Sony's answer to Game Pass, as we know. It had the Quarry on it. Now, I was very skeptical, whatever the word is, about this game when it first got announced. I saw it and I was like, no, I hadn't actually played any of the games from these people before. You know, they do the Dark Pictures anthology and they've done Until Dawn, and there's a couple of other ones out there that I probably can't think of at the moment. However, I thought, sod it, it's on the service, I'll download it and give it a whirl. I'd pretty much written this game off, guys. I completely seen the trailer or two. I was like, oh, it's in CinemaScope 21:9. There's next to no UI, and it all just had a very. I mean, people complain about some of the Sony games being movie games, and it's like, okay, get your point. They're a bit cinematic in places, but this felt very much like you was playing a movie. Like, it's even got the CinemaScope letterbox 21:9 layout. There's no break between when there's a sequence where the video takes over and they're talking with each other and you playing the characters. There's not much action in the game where, you know, it's like when you think of Resident Evil in the realms of action, you're like playing and there's like bits that take over into cut sequences, but then you're right back in the action again, and you're gunfire and running around like a headless Chuck. You know, there's nothing quite like Resident Evil, and this has bits in it where you've got that tension growing, and but there's no momentum to it. There's the tension factor, but there doesn't seem to be no urgency to you needing to get the hell out of Dodge, so to speak. Now, overall, the game, I actually was very surprised. Like I said, when I first saw this announced and it was on the trailers and I saw another teaser and then a bit of gameplay I was just like, oh, I can't be bothered with this. It just looked very reminiscent to me of maybe something in the lines of one step above a Telltale game. One of the Telltale series games where it's very much slow paced and you got to find X, Y, Z to get it. And it just didn't. I just didn't really get a vibe from the trailers or the general output from their marketing material, basically. And it just let the game down. I had written it off, and it came out, and I pretty much. I'm a firm believer of I don't really pay attention to a grand deal of other people's stuff. I know, you know, you watch my video, you're looking for other people's stuff, and you know it's my opinion and whatever. But I tend to write almost everybody else's news articles and reviews and previews off. I always want to just have my own first-hand experience at something, and those first marketing things from the publisher and developer really just made me feel like I wasn't interested. And like I said, I'd written it off and that was it. I was never going to play it, basically. It was just completely gone. You know, it was one of them type of games where if I'd have found it for a £5 in a dump bin in the local game shop, I might have picked it up. And that's about it. I know I'd have probably played it in 10 years' time and been like, wow, what did I miss here? But it was on PlayStation Plus Extra, and I downloaded it. And I had it installed. And randomly on the Saturday evening, when I booted it up at 15 minutes past 6, and started playing it, it all of a sudden dawned on me that actually, this game's pretty damn good. Now, I use some of the things in which I felt at the beginning when I first, saw the game and it being teased and marketed still ring true. You know, there's still a lot of stuff there where the the game seems to be lacking game elements almost. Like there's not much in the forms of collecting weapons up or collecting things to get your weapons better or XP or life or, like you do in a Resident Evil game, you wander around, you got your inventory, your map and yada, yada, yada. There's none of that. There's no heads-up display. There's nothing. There's so much missing that you would generally just expect to see in a, in a game. The raw fundamentals of what make a game up seem to be gone. However, for this, what really carried the game was the immersion factor. And the immersion factor of this game's on another level. Like, they've cranked it past 11 to 12. And the storyline and the characters and everything just blended in nicely. And it just picked you up. And it drank that first hour of gameplay where they're setting the scene and the story. And they're getting the bells going, and your mind's thinking, what the hell's going to happen next, type of thing. And it just really grabbed you by the balls and ran with it. And it's hard to explain that. To be honest, it being in CinemaScope and trying to be a movie style kind of probably helped it, because it almost added to the immersion factor that it's an interactive movie. Like, on the next level, like of an interactive movie. And like I say, as you're going through the game and picking up the little bits of the storyline from each of the characters and trying to fit it together, like almost like a murder mystery but with horror elements, so it's like a horror mystery game. And you got the different plot lines on these different characters, and you're trying to piece together this weird, wacky world. And it doesn't really all come together until the end of the game. But with all that said, what really hammered home for me is how much the immersion factor was so good with this game. It just really grabbed you and pulled you along, and I couldn't put it down. That first play session that I played from the 6:15 on the Saturday, I was still playing it at midnight because I wanted to know what was happening next with the story. And it was the story and the character development and really wanting to know what the hell was going on in this weird world in the Quarry that really just dragged... It didn't drag it along. It made the game just propel itself forward. And for me, it went from being a game that I would probably have never played to one that I now can't believe I would have not played. Like, it is such a good game. I cannot really explain the magnitude of the difference between my original opinion from their marketing material to actually playing the game. Even if it had been a demo for only an hour, it would have made me play the game. Now, there's some really good points that I want to say to people here. A, why the hell was their marketing material so trash? Like, you've spunked a budget on marketing material and a hardcore gamer does not want to play your game. You've done something wrong. Right, that's a big problem you've got with your marketing team there at Supermassive Games. And on the flip side of that, like, A, why the hell don't we get more and more demos? Like, even without the PlayStation Plus Premium trial service where they let you play games for 2 hours and then you can buy it. There should be more just demo gameplay out there for people to play. Because the fact that your marketing material costs a fortune and couldn't get the impact on people like myself that they don't want to buy the game. A demo would have sold that game to me. Yeah, fine, it being on PlayStation Plus Extra made me play the game, and I'll probably pick it up physically when it's cheaper, because I like to have my physical games, and I'll always be an advocate of having physical gaming on discs. However, I'd have probably never bought it without it being on PlayStation Plus. And I'd have never played it either, and it would be a crying shame that people do not play this game. Now, and as I said, it's cracking up there with the 8.5 out of 10 for me. This game is the immersion factor, the storyline, the character development, the eeriness of the music and the sound. It all just went home together and packed a punch that you could not believe you was playing the game, and it was just so good. And I can't believe I almost gave it a miss. And my big takeaway from this is that people should play the game. Companies need to get better at marketing material. And why the hell don't we get more demos of games? You go and look on the PlayStation Store now. We're getting a few more demos. There's a lot of VR demos. However, just general demos of games seems to have disappeared. I used to love the days when I would pick up my magazine or get it delivered by the post, and you'd have a demo disc on the front, and it'd be like, "Oh, we've got the demo of this. It's coming out in 3 months' time." You get a demo 3 months before the game came out. I mean, what the hell? That's what we need to get back to. We need to get back to marketing material that hits in the laps of gamers 3 months ahead of time as a little demo of the game. Yeah, make it half an hour, make it whatever. Demo the game to people, show the actual gamers, and put it in the flipping hands of real gamers, actual demos. Like, I can't believe we can't get that type of thing going again in this digital world that we live in. That demos are your best friend when it comes to marketing your game. Like, it doesn't need to be on Game Pass or PlayStation Plus. You don't need to completely sacrifice your whole entire revenue stream of selling the game and put it on a service as a whole. You can make a very minute demo and put it out for free, and people, if they like your game and it bloody and the game sells itself, they're gonna buy it if they enjoy it. And that is the biggest thing you can do, as in my opinion, as a publisher, because we just don't get enough demos, and it's ridiculous. The amount of games I bought back in the 90s and early noughties, where I had played a demo and be like, "Oh, I bloody love that, I'm going to buy it." Amazing. And it just dropped. Like, beginning of the PS3, we got a few demo discs on magazines, then the magazine industry completely disappeared, demos on discs completely disappeared, and it just fragmented totally. And the amount of games I've bought them really dirt cheap, and either absolutely hated them and wish I'd never bought them, or thought to myself, you know, how the hell did I miss this one? And you paid a fiver for it. And, like, they could have made such a better... They can do so much better with demos, in my opinion, on marketing. It's unbelievable. But anyway, the biggest takeaway from this video here is that you should bloody play the Quarry. The game's so good, and... yeah, it's just so good. It's amazing, it's fun, and it's well worth your time. Anyway, if you're new around here, don't forget to subscribe and like my video. Let me know what you thought of the Quarry. Comments down below, and I'll get back to you, and I'll catch you on the next one. Great, and thanks, and goodbye.